downtown to San Fernando. That left plenty of time to type out a text and say, "Harry, we are heading your way." But that hadn't happened, so he assumed that the two men, whom he didn't know, had put the clamps on Soto. "Lucia. Long time," Bosch said. "How are you, partner?" It looked like none of the three were interested in entering Bosch's cell, even if it had been repurposed. He stood up, deftly grabbing his phone from beneath the files on the desk and transferring it to his shirt pocket, placing the screen against his chest. He walked to the bars and stuck his hand through. Though he had talked to Soto intermittently by phone and text over the past couple of years, he had not seen her. Her appearance had changed. She had lost weight, and she looked drawn and tired, her dark eyes worried. Rather than shaking his hand, she squeezed it. Her grip was tight, and he took that as a message. Be careful here. It was easy for Bosch to figure out who was who between the two men. Both were in their early 40s and dressed in suits that most likely came off the rack at Men's Warehouse. But the man on the left's pinstripes were showing wear from the inside out. Bosch knew that meant he was wearing a shoulder rig beneath the jacket, and the hard edge of his weapon's slide was wearing through the fabric. Bosch guessed that the silk lining had already been chewed up. In 6 months, the suit would be toast. "Bob Tapscott," he said. "Lucky Lucy's partner now." Tapscott was black, and Bosch wondered if he was related to Horace Tapscott, the late South LA musician who had been vital in preserving the community's jazz identity. "And I'm Alex Kennedy, Deputy District Attorney," said the second man. "We'd like to talk to you if you have a few minutes." Sure," Bosch said. "Step into my office." He gestured toward the confines of the former cell, now fitted with steel shelves containing case files. There was a long communal bench left over from the cell's previous existence as a drunk tank. Bosch had files from different cases lined up to review on the bench. He started stacking them to make room for his visitors to sit, even though he was pretty sure they wouldn't. "Actually, we talked to your Captain Trevino, and he says we can use the war room over in the Detective Bureau," Tapscott said. "It will be more comfortable. Do you mind?" "I don't mind if the captain doesn't mind," Bosch said. "What's this about, anyway?" "Preston Borders," Soto said. Bosch was walking toward the open door of the cell. The name put a slight pause in his step. "Let's wait until we're in the war room," Kennedy said quickly. "Then we can talk." Soto gave Bosch a look that seemed to impart the message that she was under the DA's thumb on this case. He grabbed his keys and the padlock off the desk, stepped out of the cell, and then slid the metal door closed with a heavy clang. The key to the cell had disappeared long ago, and Bosch wrapped a bicycle chain around the bars and secured the door with a padlock. They left the old jail and walked through the Public Works equipment yard out to First Street. While waiting for traffic to pass, Bosch casually pulled his phone out of his pocket and checked for messages. He had received nothing from Soto or anyone else prior to the arrival of the party from downtown. He kept the recording going and put the phone back in his pocket. Soto spoke, but not about the case that had brought her up to San Fernando. "Is that really your office, Harry?" she asked. "I mean, they put you in a jail cell?" "Yep," Bosch said. "That was the drunk tank, and sometimes I think I can still smell the puke when I open it up in the morning. Supposedly 5 or 6 guys hung themselves in there over the years. It's supposed to be haunted, but it's where they keep the cold case files, so it's where I do my work. They store old evidence boxes in the other 2 cells, so easy access all around, and usually nobody to bother me." He hoped the implication of the last line was clear to his visitors. "So they have no jail?" Soto asked. "They have to run bodies down to Van Nuys?" Bosch pointed across the street to the police station they were heading toward. "Only the women go down to Van Nuys," Bosch said. "We have a jail here for the men, in the station, state-of-the-art single cells. I've even stayed over a few times. Beats the bunk room at the PAB with everybody snoring." She threw him a look, as if to say he had changed if he was willing to sleep in a jail cell. He winked at her. "I can work anywhere," he said. "I can sleep anywhere." When the traffic cleared, they crossed over to the police station and entered through the main lobby. The Detective Bureau had a direct entrance on the right. Bosch opened it with a key card and held the door as the others stepped in. The bureau was no bigger than a single-car garage. At its center were 3 workstations tightly positioned in a single module. These belonged to the unit's 3 full-time detectives.